Hey guys, Charlie Traveler here and welcome back to the channel. Today I have the honor of welcoming Grimm and Spiridon, two legends amongst mortals. They've agreed to sit down with me and discuss one of the greatest, most impressive achievements in the history of Duel Universe, the construction of an entire city, Freeport. Hey Grimm, hey Spiridon. Thank you guys so much for coming on to the show today. I am excited and I know our viewers are too.
Thank you, glad to be here.
Thank you for having us. We will answer all we can.
Awesome. So I first saw Freeport pop up on the DU Reddit. I lurked there, and I don't post a lot, but there's a lot of cool stuff going on, and obviously Freeport caught my eye. So my first thought was, whoa. But my second thought, and I'm sure a lot of people's second thought, was how much did this cost?
If I was to put a price tag on the library alone, it would be about 500 million quanta at least.
Yeah, the last number I heard from unverified sources was below 2 billion or so, and many hours of work and drudgery.
Man, that is an incredible amount of money.
Yep, we are beneficiaries of collective effort, and no one person can take most of the credit. So we do have dedicated champions contribute to the entire project, but usually it's everybody.
Community is at the heart of all we do here. Many see what we have done and want to contribute, and we have more joining every day. It really speaks to the goals of our city.
So obviously this isn't a one-man job. The detail is incredible and the scale is tremendous. How many guys do you have working on this? Are they all from Tioma Trading Co.?
No, we have many different organizations and individuals working on this entire project. We do have a core that is involved in making the infrastructure, but there is no mandate or obligation, only what individual chooses for themselves. And we do have, I do have to note a few people that have contributed for a long time, actually from the beginning. They're actually some of the founders of entire TTC, and some of them are kind of unaffiliated, but you have one sister organization called Singularity, and they're not leader. He doesn't call himself leader, but he is Cider. Anyways, he is one of the leaders of the shipbuilding organization. Then we have like Artorius, our drunk Batman, that funds our operation and also makes holes at night in the city. Great. You wake up and you see like stuff that's missing around your building. It's awesome. Also, Syath, he might be listening on the conversation, and he's our greatest promoter of our city. I would have to commend him. Without him, this entire interview would not happen. Also, he's an industrialist. You know, he does other stuff, not just promote the city. You have North Lord and Decoy and Tokyo. They're like builders they make amazing, not just buildings, but just the shapes that we all use. And then you have the Grimm, and he's right here, so he can tell you.
And then we have the hedronic library. That's only been possible through countless donations by both materials and content from the community. TTC has been invaluable. I'm a member of TTC, of course, but the library project is my own personal one. They have been the single greatest donator of materials, and content comes from some of the best voxelmancers in the entire DU community. We have BIA, NRD, ODY, Singularity, Boo, and of course TTC, and many more. Tons of individuals, everything from tools, shape sets, ship hulls, and soon we'll be providing basic Lua scripts and everything of that nature to get people at least wetted in the beak with Lua, because it is a bit much to wrap your head around.
All right, you got to tell me some more about the hedronic library. Now, I've done a little bit of research into voxelmancy myself, and it's mentioned in countless tutorials and YouTube videos. How do players access it?
Well, the hedronic library is a collection of shape sets, voxelmancy tools, hull blanks, even ships, for which all have the BPs publicly available for a player to take one. That's one lifetime freebie per player per dispenser via a publicly accessible dispenser associated with each exhibit. Or we will be adding secondary dispensers where a BP can be purchased for the price of the blueprint creation.
Man, that is super cool. I love open source projects like that, and it seems really useful for people who are getting involved in voxelmancy or trying to start, learning how to build. Let's swing back to the operations side of things in Freeport. Do you have any laws or government structure? How would you enforce something like that?
We haven't had really a lot of issues with unwanted parties. Since we're doing most of our interactions through Discord, we can manage our community there. Also, it's called Freeport, so we're trying to make a community as independent, neutral to major powers, welcoming to all, especially helpful to new players, trying to get giving people features to the game, meaning like access to the shops or access to certain blueprints and infrastructure that they would not be able to do it. So I think that's how we keep our governance low, because we don't have to overlord anybody.
All right, so what was the inspiration behind building Freeport in the first place? Like, how did you guys decide to undertake this project?
Well, Freeport, we wanted a city for all to help build the community, add life to the world, and facilitate emergent gameplay that people haven't even thought of yet.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I know by personal journey of finding Freeport in terms of wanting to do something like this. I wanted to do a civilization with Decoy. Decoy and I know each other through real life. So we have tried to find a game that allows us to do this. And we were always like, there's nothing here. Maybe like what you could do with, Star Wars Galaxies or whatever. But nobody can do this. And then we found this, like, really? This exists? And then I was like, whoa, this actually works. And then I found out Lord Mello, and then he introduced me to Grim, he introduced me to a bunch of other people, mostly all the founders of TTC. And we kind of, we in Alpha met on Tioma on the lake. And they're like, hey, this is a cool spot. Maybe we should make something here. And Lord Mello made this tower. He get this 3D model of this tower, and we made it. And that was kind of the beginning.
Awesome. Was it kind of the same motivation for the hedronic library?
The library was inspired a little bit differently. I saw a need present in the community. I mean, let's face it, some of the very things that make DU one of the most amazing games can also be some of the most daunting to learn.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, voxelmancy being chief one of these. And the library, through the work donated by the community, has set out to ease that curve, allowing any builder the tools, shapes, to build like a pro with relative ease, or the informations and tools to become a voxelmancer oneself, if that's the path you want to take.
Right.
I'll be honest, I consider myself more a voxel artist than a voxelmancer. I don't do the math.
So, is that the difference between a voxelmancer and a voxel artist? Math?
In my opinion.
Yeah. Somebody that knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's
when
the
you
difference.
can sit there and make those generators and reactors to the exact offset in your mind, and then make it in game, that is a voxelmancer.
if you can build Sistine Chapel in this game, you're a voxelmancer.
Yeah, some of the stuff people are doing is truly incredible. I mean, it's mind-blowing. My mind does not work that way. I wish it did, because it's just amazing to see.
I know.
So you mentioned housing earlier. Will anybody be able to live here? What are the requirements? Like, how does somebody buy a house or a lot or a building or something in Freeport?
Sure, we have. You are able to buy a house or rent a house or apartment. Mostly we have apartments for renting because houses are, hard to find. But you can buy property and you can build upon it. How it works is we have prefab buildings that you have full access to the interior of the building, but not the shell. So technically, when you rent an apartment, it's kind of like an excess static core that you have an access to. You can put whatever you want on the walls. You can like junk it up, whatever. It's your thing. But you don't have any access to outside of the space that we give you. So that's kind of how it works. We would like to make it so if you buy a building, it's kind of like a token, so you can just get it and it'll be easy. But right now we'll play by ear in terms of how it's going to develop and how they're going to allow us to do this logistically. I mean developers. Right now it's still totally not developed, but we can still do it without them giving us all the tools.
Yeah, it seems like whatever challenge you guys come across, you'll find a way to outthink it. So you talked about housing, but like, what about workshops or storefronts? And like, how do you get people to come to the city and stay there? Like, what do they? How do you keep them engaged?
Sure. So we already have a few groups that are, they're independent groups. They make, for example, we have Svea Furniture. They're actually from Sweden and they make furniture for us. And they have a shop over there. They sell whatever you need, all decorative parts, so you can put stuff in your apartment or whatever. So that isn't one example, but it's not just one org or one shop. We have many shops. We have some of our own shops, but also we encourage free market, so people can come here and not even live here, but sell if they want to, and open a shop. And we are trying to really engage players that with a little newer idea of what this particular game is. It's kind of making a single player experience in a multiplayer within us, because we are kind of providing the infrastructure. Almost we are NPCs in some ways. But we're alive as well.
That is a really cool way to think about it. So when you guys make money from rent or sales from your shops there, what happens to the money? Where's it go?
Straight into investment, really. I don't keep, it goes into my wallet technically, because there is no org wallets, but I don't keep anything personally. I literally have one dinky ship that is at XS core, and I just run around, and what do I need? Everybody has everything. I can use what everybody has. What do I need, really? But in terms of TTC, everybody else has their own thing. But I do think that it's more about trying to grow the entire city. And then if I literally leave this game and I would not have anything, literally, like I would probably have just the same thing that I started with.
Man, that's cool. Tell me about the history of Freeport.
Well, we started small, mostly a group of friends, as Spiridon has said, all settling in a common location on Teoma. We were just trying to benefit each other where we could. Eventually it turned into us helping new players with their onboarding experience. And from there, things pretty much developed organically. As more and more people in orgs heard what we were doing, saw how it looked, saw how we were doing things, they wanted to contribute, join in. We've got about 8 orgs now, dozens of individuals. And everybody's working together to build a thriving community. We got industry, trade centers, the shops, as we were talking about. Just, it feels like a living, breathing city. And I think that's going to allow a level of immersion for that emergent gameplay a sandbox needs.
You've told me a lot about the successes of Freeport, but I want to know about maybe some of the hardships you've had to overcome, burnouts, funding issues. Were you ever like, oh God, what have we done? Is this a mistake?
Well, I'll leave the TTC stuff to Spiridon, but as far as library funding issues go, they do arise from time to time. It's pretty much a philanthropic, thing I do. It gets a little rough keeping the BP stocked, and other than that, I don't mind it. It's a challenge I'm glad to meet to provide the free public service. Just donations, while always appreciated, are never expected. So they don't come that often.
I think for TTC, we have been running for some time as an org, and we also have a few personalities in our group. I cannot deny that. So, with that, sometimes there are some sparks. Like people get a little bit ruffled up and whatever. But not nobody really means anything bad, and nobody really. To me, we have always been able to handle our own things. But you always have, like we have 50 people. We have majority of them are over, I don't know, 40 years old, and like they all have certain quirks and whatever. So you gotta kind of respect that. So what are you gonna do? But I don't think we have ever had uncivilized behaviors or kind of like blowing up. I mean, I've not witnessed personally. Maybe we have had, but I have not personally witnessed.
Right. When you guys were building the city, were there ever times where you questioned like your own resolve? Like, was it just a whole lot to manage, or was it all? I mean, were things pretty smooth? As far as like the building itself went?
I will honestly say it went much smoother than I initially thought it would for a project of that size.
Right.
But it's because it developed organically. We didn't lay it out on paper and say, okay, we're going to build this here, that there, and this here. No, one person settled over here, and we had the tower where it was, and we had the library where it was, and another person would settle over here. So we built roads so we all could connect. And then people started settling within the roads. So it builds out the center grid of the city. And okay, well, we need some plazas. Let's get some plazas because cities need plazas. So, it just keeps developing that way.
Right.
The road system now has a tram and a raised, roadway for the tram to ride on. All that's new.
Man. Awesome.
And we didn't even plan technically. I mean, it does grow organically. The city literally kind of like the tram that you see right now goes along the city, the same line. But it was literally, I logged in one time and I was like, whoa, what the hell happened? Somebody built this.
Just a magical tram appeared.
Seriously? I mean, to me, it was.
That's cool.
It's one of the benefits of having so many eclectic people together, different orgs, different skill sets.
Yeah, and
people will bring different projects in that they might not have told you about, but it's almost like, hey, here's a surprise for us.
That's fantastic. You contrast that with like the planned cities that are centrally designed, and I feel like the organic approach you guys have going on with Freeport is a lot more appealing to me personally, at least. I think it's got a lot of character and honestly a lot more utility, in my opinion. But I think that's a super cool way to approach building a city. How do you guys like manage Freeport? Like the infrastructure, and like is somebody like running it? Do you have a mayor? Is there a mayor of Freeport?
I don't think there is a mayor. I think there's a somebody could say like there's a mascot, but I don't think there's a mayor. I mean, Decoy manages most of the daily things in the city. He is, I would say, city manager, like a kind of make sure where the city is going to expand. We have a plan on what each district should kind of look like. We don't want to like dictate, but it's kind of like making it grow a certain way and then allowing other people to contribute. But everybody has the vision. It's a collective vision, so I wouldn't say that it is just one person to go.
Right. Yeah. So is there this is it? Like, will Freeport ever be finished?
It's gonna, even if it start, like it fills up the space, it will have, it will evolve all the time. We will like different things. Like stuff gets boring. It's like, just tear it down and make something else.
Agreed. A project like this is never truly completed. It'll keep growing.
Awesome. All right, I've got a tantalizing question here. I've seen something about 18 plus clubs. What is this about? How's that going to work? And what is the correlation between these clubs and your logo?
Logo similarity was just for that visualization, tantalization for you. Just, what did I see? Oh, it's Freeport. You know, but as far as the 18 plus shops, those are not my project on that one. There are people you would have to ask. No comment. No comment.
I got no comment. You should ask Slane or Lord Mullo.
Well,
They got things. I don't know.
they got things. Maybe we'll have to have them on for a late night episode sometime soon.
They would love it.
Freeport after dark.
Yes, that's great.
Oh my god.
What kind of scripting goes into the city to like make things run? You mentioned a tram, which is just awesome. I mean, what else you got going on behind the scenes?
Well, we have elevators, trams, as you said, inventory management scripts. Certain stores have player cataloging scripts so they know who's coming to their store. Many more.
Yeah, I'm not expert on scripts, honestly, personally, but we have, like Grim said, all of these crazy things. So,
Man,
you know.
that's awesome. So I can't believe the tram just like appeared one day. It was. How does it work? I mean, like, not like, you know, technically, but like, do people pay to ride? Is it like, does it ride on a rail? What's the deal?
Tram systems always continue to be built and expanded, and it's a free service provided by Freeport.
It was actually based on a script from Starzet. He also has like his own library called Meg's Library, Meg's Box Library. But it's the actual script is using, I believe, the quotation marks, the position. It has. I have no idea.
It's magic to me too.
But I do know that it uses like just regular engines, and there is no craziness. It's just Atmos that are positioned, and it's kind of like a car. It's like a trolley, but without electricity.
Sweet. Can you imagine having a traffic jam in Freeport? Those are goals, baby.
Exactly.
That sounds awesome. Man, thank you guys so much for coming and sitting down with me tonight. I wish you guys all the best in all future endeavors, not just Freeport. But yeah, it's been a ton of fun. We're gonna have to do this again sometime as you guys continue to develop the city and as the game continues to develop around it.
Thank you. Thanks for having us, and I'm always glad to come and spread the word about Freeport and the library, and appreciate the opportunity.
And thank you all for tuning in and listening to this interview. If you liked it, like the video, subscribe to the channel, whatever floats your boat. Until next time, I'm Charlie Traveler. I forgot my sign-off. Good night.